Hello, welcome to episode 2 where I'm going to teach you how the blocks work and how the property window and all of the attributes in there. I also seem to have somehow got rid of the background noise from my microphone, but that's not too good. Sorry if there's a little noise there, I'm adjusting it. It's not too good because both my headphones broke, so only the microphone works. So I'm wearing one pair of headphones whilst talking into another. It's just kind of weird. Basically, I'm going to use, not the base plate, I'm just going to copy the base plate, put another one on top of it, resize it. Nope, resize, not drag. Resize it to an appropriate size for a brick that I'm going to show you. Yeah, this will do. Could have a tiny brick, but is there any point? Okay, so, now to make it look brick-like, yes, I'm very pedantic. Actually, I'll do it in here. So all of this is the property column showing you the properties, this is the value column, this is the part you edit, not the other part. So as we already know, you can change the color, you can change the material here as well. Got quite a lot of choice. I'll set it to wood. Reflectance is how much it reflects the scenery around it. Now the scenery around it. This won't work with wood, it only works with plastic as far as I know. See, that's 1, so it's fully reflective. It goes from a scale to 0 to 1. And 0.5 is quite reflective. It still keeps its brown colour. 0.2, not very, but still kind of shiny. So it's useful for mainly making some sort of gold. Then you can make the gold like shiny. Or you could be a normal person and have wood. Then there's transparency, which is basically made. It's the same scale as reflectance, but it's basically made for making glass, which you can see through. Or to make a block completely invisible, which then, 1, which then will block your path if you try and walk through it. I'm going to set it to 0 simply for the tutorial though. Back to that. I don't know why I like brown. Let's have it a yellow, because why not? Okay, the name of it, this really isn't important unless if you're making a script or you like to name your things. Or it can be important in, for example, tycoons. So I'm just going to name it brick. But if it's like a spawn or a certain wall of an area, you'd name it like right wall or something. But you don't need to be too specific. The position is really not to be tampered with, since you can easily just lose it. However, if you do lose it, there's this button here, zoom to or F, which instantly focuses on it. So if I move it off the screen, then look away, boom, instantly moves you to the object. So the rock velocity and specific gravity and velocity and all of that is for basically creating a conveyor belt. So if you put if you anchor it and put 25 velocity on it, anyone who stands on it will go zooming along in the direction of the velocity. It's more mathsy stuff. I do maths at A level, so I know all this. Now here are the main things. I'm going to have to go into play mode to show you this. See, if I just drag this block up now, it's not going to fall, is it? That's because it's still anchored. If I then unanchor it, it bounces. And then I anchor it and it stays in position again. Now this can be a super inefficient way of creating falling blocks, which I really don't get why you'd want to do that. But yeah. See, I made it float. I'm so cool. This archiveable. I'm not even sure what it does. I don't even know. I have no idea what it does. Locked means you can't click on it, and you can't edit it with beetles like copy and delete and that. So then, if I try and click on it, I can't. Now you might be thinking you've just made that block unusable. Nope, you can just click here and then unlock it, or you can use the lock tool up here, and that unlocks it manually, basically. Resizable faces, you can't mess with that, not on this block. Can collide, I think it's kind of obvious what this one is. It means if you set it off, people can walk through it. However, do be careful, if you set can collide and anchored off, it'll fall through the floor, and then disappear when it hits the limit at the bottom. Elasticity is basically, I'm not even sure, because you can't really stretch them. It doesn't really make sense. Here's something important. Plate means that instead of going indents of 1, it goes in indents of much smaller rather than 1, so you can have a smaller like plate, as it says. Symmetric means the block's going to be symmetrical, as you guess. Custom, I haven't really seen that yet, so I'm not even sure, but for some reason when I switch it to custom and then back, it resizes it. Friction, now that's what you'd think it is. If it's 0, you'll just slide across it. If it's 1, you'd instantly, well, I'm not even sure. Because, yeah, I think the lower it is, or I'm not sure, the lower it is, you should just slide across it. Shape, this one's pretty self-explanatory. You can set it to a ball, cylinder, that is a cylinder, and a block. There are many more shapes, but they're all in the form of meshes, which I'll show you at a later date. Scrolling back down, the size, that's basically a way for you to edit it. So if I suddenly want it to be super tall, I'll just edit it to 100. Don't know why you'd want that, but oh well. Create some sort of pillar, maybe. I'll take it. That's a sneeze. Now the rest of this, the surface inputs, this really isn't needed at this level. I haven't messed with these in years. I think I messed with them once in my minigames. This surface things here are more like to do with editing the actual, like, whether it sticks to other blocks or not. So you can have unanchored blocks that stick to a player so that they can move around but don't fall. Basically anchoring them to something. Oh, and there's an anchor tool here which allows you to anchor and unanchor stuff manually. Now, the other main thing about blocks is, you see how when I do it, it gives a set indent as to the resizing, and the moving, set indent. That's called a stud. You can set it to 1/5 of a stud, so now I can move it at much smaller indents, as you can see, and resize it at much smaller indents. Plus, if I raise it up, you'll see that I can also rotate it at much smaller indents. So that's quite useful for simple building, pretty much. And here's when, if you really want to get complicated, you can rotate it any angle you want, because this is no grid mode, where you can literally rotate it to any angle you want or anything. You can resize it fluently, or fluid style, so small as that and infinitely long, and it's not set to any grid basically, and the same with moving. Not set to any grid, it just slides. All of these literally just pan the camera, so they're not very useful. That one rotates the block, flips it, and moves up and down. For that you can just use this and this, so I don't get why you'd need it. It's just little quick simple tools. But that's pretty much all you can do with a basic brick for now, except for add meshes or scripts or whatever. So that's all the basic things you can do with a brick. Thank you for watching. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and tune in for the next tutorial.